Good evening, everyone. This is Brother Jason checking in with another episode of In Case You Like to Know. In case you'd like to know what am I scheming? Like, what am I teaching your kids? That way, if you guys don't like what I'm teaching, you can like take them out of my class. So in today's lesson, we talked about John chapter 5, and in John chapter 5, it starts off with a guy who had been sick for 38 years, and he was at this pool called Bethesda. And what happens is that the pool would bubble up every day, and and then the first person who would get to the bubble would get healed. And so this guy who had been sick, he had been trying to get inside the pool, but he was paralyzed, so he could never move fast enough to get healed. And he had been in this process for 38 years, and he still hadn't been healed. And so then Jesus comes up to him, and Jesus realized this guy's been here the longest out of everybody. And Jesus asks him this question, and he says, "Hey, do you want to be healed?" And the guy's like, "Hey, yeah, I do. Can you help me to get to the pool, to the bubble in the pool so I can be healed?" And Jesus is like, "No." He's like, "But let me ask you again, do you want to be healed?" And he says yes. And then Jesus says, "Well, pick up your bed and walk." And then all of a sudden he has the power to pick up his bed, and he can walk. And that's what we kind of talked about today. And what breaks my heart about that story and about my kids is that this guy had been doing the same thing he had always been doing. Ever since he had his problem, his ailment, he had one solution, and that was to, you know, try to get to this pool. For us, it might be, trying to watch Netflix, or trying to get high, or trying to drink, or trying to whatever it is. People have their thing that they go to kind of deal, to try to get it to work, but it wasn't working for this guy. And it took him 38 years before he was willing to try something new. And I told the kids, if there's something going on with you that's not working in your life, you need to give it over to God, and you need to let him work on it. Because I don't need you wasting years of your life trying to do things your own way, and it's not working. And so their homework for this week it's called the Taste and See Challenge. If you watched my videos before, I've talked about these verses in Psalms chapter 34. And the Taste and See Challenge is this. The Bible says, "Taste and see that the Lord is good." So that means they have to give their problem, the thing that's not working in their life, over to Jesus for a week. They got to do whatever the Bible says with it. And then we're going to come back on Sunday and see if things got better. Because I'm trying to get them to experience God for themselves. At some point, they have to stop believing what you tell them and what I tell them, and they need to see God for themselves. And so if you have something in your life, parents, that is not working, and you need to give over to God, today is a good day to do that. You don't need to wait 10 years, 20 years, 38 years, your whole life, when God can give you the solution today. That was the crazy thing about that story, man. If he had said no, that's the last thing I'll say, is that if he had said no, he would have stayed where he was. And so if there's something in your life that you have not given over, and you are saying no on, you are staying where you are. And it's hard when you're a parent and you stay where you are, and it's affecting everybody in your household because you're being disobedient. So that's what I taught your kids. Hopefully you learned something, and I will see you next week. God bless.